Making headlines. The President emphasizes the pivotal importance of the constitutional amendments, asserting that they will bolster the Maldives' independence while establishing a framework for national stability. The Finance Minister announces that the government is working towards making the Maldives a regional hub for Islamic finance. And the Parliament's Budget Committee approves the government proposed $3.7 billion for State Budget 2025.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to PSM News in English with me, Hafiz Abdul Sattar. And now the news in detail. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz has emphasized the pivotal importance of the recently ratified constitutional amendments, asserting that they will bolster the Maldives' independence and sovereignty while establishing a framework for national stability.
In a video message, President Dr. Muiz outlined the key changes, including strengthened requirements for territorial modifications. Previously, such changes required a two-thirds parliamentary majority, while the new amendment increases this to a three-quarters majority. Moreover, the President highlighted that the Maldives' maritime territory extending up to the Exclusive Economic Zone (EEZ) can now only be altered with the approval of a three-quarters parliamentary majority and a public referendum. Another major amendment mandates parliamentary approval before foreign military personnel can be stationed in any part of the Maldives. Foreign troops will henceforth be restricted to participating in military exercises unless authorized by the parliament. This amendment reflects President Dr. Mohamed Muiz's dedication to upholding national sovereignty as demonstrated by the redeployment of Indian military personnel in May 2024. The President also draws attention to a significant change regarding public referendums. While Parliament previously held the authority to amend referendum-related articles, the new amendment requires that any such changes must first be approved through a public referendum. Additionally, President Dr. Muiz highlighted two other critical amendments: the inclusion of the anti-defection law into the Constitution, aimed at promoting political stability, and the addition of presidential responsibilities to develop short, medium, and long-term national developmental goals. In conclusion, President Dr. Muiz described these constitutional reforms as made with patriotic fervor and a commitment to the nation's sovereignty, stability, and development. He extended his gratitude to all parliamentarians for their instrumental role in enacting these significant changes, which he believes will safeguard the rights of Maldivian citizens and the nation's future.
Maldives and Pakistan hold discussions to strengthen military ties. Minister of Defense Mohammad Ghassan Mamoon held discussions with the Chief of Army Staff of the Pakistan Army, General Syed Asim Munir, on the sidelines of the 12th International Defense Exhibition and Seminar, Ideas 2024 in Pakistan. Ministry of Defense disclosed that the meeting focused on enhancing military cooperation and strengthening bilateral ties between the Maldives and Pakistan. The ongoing International Defense Exhibition and Seminar aims to explore opportunities for deeper military collaborations and cooperation among regional nations. This year's event is attended by representatives from 38 countries. Minister of Finance Musa Zamir has announced that the government is working towards making Maldives a regional hub for Islamic finance. In an exclusive interview with PSM News, the minister emphasized that establishing the Maldives as an Islamic finance hub is a key vision of the current government. To support this initiative, a dedicated department has been set up within the Ministry of Finance. Minister Zamir also highlighted the formation of a Sharia Advisory Committee in accordance with regulatory requirements, as well as efforts to expand Islamic financial resources. Noting that the government is also preparing to issue its first Islamic securities, the minister confirmed that the first listed government-owned sukuk approved by the Maldives Stock Exchange CMDA is now ready for issuance. Minister Zamir further emphasized the importance of raising public awareness about Islamic finance, noting that the results of these efforts will be seen in the near future. And now we'll take a short break for Isha prayers. Stay tuned.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدًا الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وبعثه مقامًا محمودًا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
කදේමෙන් දෙමිවුණ හම සාබස්සිගේ මමිවුණනි කදේමගේ පහතුල් නේරිගෙන් නෙමියුන් හොරියාර බිරු වාතක්කමෙන් අලනි කනාතක්කමෙන් අලනි දෙමියුන් කරමියකු වාහක දක්කමුන් දක්කමුන්ගස් එහා මුහිම වාහක විජ්ජා ගේතරේගේ මේසෙක්කාරි ඉත්තාලයාගෙන් ගොඩියගේ ඉත්තාලයන් වාහක දක්කම් මීනු हम सैकल को हम तीदा नहीं रारा गुड़ी ये हम मैं और तीद मी हूँ ना समा रंगलंग इंगे ने दो इतना बये को रात तेरे के दुबन चहे का कि गोली तक ये मैं हुरिया मैं सादा कोरम भी खारी के तीन सपंग हतर सपंग हदा रात तेरे के नुदुब बम्बी पाहत एक को लाइन हदा के नीचे दिया मिका निमुनी नु फसे वांग कमेंट नु
Welcome back to PSM News in English, and now we'll continue with the news. Minister of Education Dr. Ismail Shafiu has stated that all but $2.21 million of the outstanding bills of the educational projects have been cleared.
Speaking on a special program of PSM News, the Education Minister elaborated on the challenges faced by the education sector when the current government assumed office. He highlighted that several projects in the sector had been handed over to various companies, but payments for these projects had not been made. As such, he disclosed that outstanding bills amounted to $18 million and noted that the most pressing concern is to find a way to settle these dues and ensure the swift continuation of these projects. The minister reassured that the outstanding $2.21 million would be cleared up before the end of the year. The projects in question include the construction of classrooms and multipurpose halls. Minister Dr. Shafiu also pointed out that the 2024 budget had not allocated sufficient funds for these initiatives. According to financial regulations, 15% of the total project cost should be paid when a new contract is awarded. Unfortunately, many of the projects have received insufficient funding, complicating the payment process even when the work has been formally awarded. Despite these challenges, the minister emphasized that ongoing works, including those for schools, are being completed without significant difficulty. He also noted that the previous administration had launched over 100 educational projects, including the construction of classrooms and multipurpose halls. However, some of these projects are facing delays or even have been stalled.
Minister of Education Dr. Ismail Shafiu has disclosed that next year the education sector will prioritize enhancing the professional skills of teachers with $397,400 of the state budget 2025 allocated specifically for education.
Speaking to PSM News, Minister Dr. Shafiu outlined several key projects the Ministry of Education plans to implement next year. He stated that the primary focus will be to improve the professional capacity of the teachers. To achieve this, the ministry plans to establish education centers for excellence across the country, which will offer professional development programs for both teachers and principals. Additionally, school evaluations will be strengthened to ensure continuous improvement. The minister also highlighted a national program launched last month to address the shortage of teachers. The program aims to train 150 new teachers annually, as more than 2,000 teachers are still needed, particularly at primary level, where a shortage of 250 teachers exists. In addition to efforts to enhance teacher skills, the ministry will implement a new education management information system next year, replacing the current management system. This new system will provide the ministry with comprehensive access to student records and other essential information. The minister further announced that a project to air-condition schools will be rolled out across many schools next year. Special emphasis will also be placed on digitalizing textbooks and strengthening the overall management of the education sector.
Minister of Health Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim has expressed confidence in achieving revolutionary transformations in the health sector under the leadership of President Dr. Mohamed Moez.
Speaking to PSM News, Minister Nazim highlighted the significant progress made in the health sector since the current administration assumed office. despite considerable setbacks and challenges. He noted that the administration's health policies were carefully designed to address existing challenges, resulting in substantial advancements in efforts to enhance healthcare services nationwide. Minister Nazim reiterated the government's vision to develop a healthcare system that ensures the provision of adequate and quality services to all citizens, irrespective of the population size or geographic location. He underscored key initiatives such as expanding services at regional hospitals, introducing air ambulance services, and ensuring the importation of high-quality medications. Additionally, he reaffirmed his commitment to completing stalled projects within the sector. The minister also discussed recent reforms to the National Health Insurance System (ASANDA) aimed at curbing unnecessary expenses. He explained that savings from reduced wastage could be reinvested to further enhance and develop the sector, driving sustainable growth. Minister Nazim emphasized that the swift implementation of impactful health policies within President Dr. Moizu's first year in office reflects the administration's prioritization of the health sector. He noted that the 2025 state budget, the first proposed by the current administration, underscores the president's commitment to bring in transformative changes to healthcare in the Maldives.
The Parliament's Budget Committee has approved the government proposed $3.7 billion for state budget 2025.
The committee passed the budget without any modifications but stipulated that the government must submit detailed information on the projects included in the budget to the Parliament. The approval was secured with 15 out of 19 committee members voting in favour. Deputy Speaker Ahmad Nazim proposed a general recommendation to enhance transparency and accountability in the Public Sector Investment Programme (PSIP). His recommendations include categorizing PSIP programs based on specific criteria and submitting a comprehensive list of actionable projects to the Parliament by February 2025. Furthermore, the government is to provide a separate list by March 2025 indicating projects that are feasible and those that are not. Nazim also recommended quarterly progress reports for ongoing projects throughout the year. The budget submitted to the Parliament on 31st October allocates $3.2 billion in expenditures, including $2.3 billion for recurrent expenses and $862.3 million for capital expenditures. Officials have noted that this budget reflects the lowest deficit in recent history and aims to sustainably reduce national debt levels over the long term.
The tech-heavy Nasdaq closed lower on November 20th, taking a break from the prior session's rally as investors worried about escalation of Russia-Ukraine tensions and weak results from Target while awaiting earnings from mega-cap Nvidia. The Dow and S&P 500 ticked up late in the session. The Dow closed higher and the S&P 500 was close to unchanged. Stocks fell after a report said Ukraine fired long-range British Storm Shadow missiles into Russian territory. On Tuesday, Ukraine launched US-made missiles to Russia, and Russia announced it had lowered the threshold for nuclear action. Wall Street's fear good jumped to 18.79 before easing slightly, still at its highest since November 5th US presidential election.
One retailer had really strong numbers. And another retailer had very poor numbers and poor guidance. And so I think that that's confusing the picture a little bit. Then on top of that, obviously the market is, I think in general, trying to consolidate a lot of not only post-election gains, but also just gains for the year, right? We've had a huge year-to-date number in US markets.
AI leader Nvidia fell ahead of its results that are scheduled for after the bell. The index heavyweight dragged down information technology sector and the tech-heavy Nasdaq. Target plunged after the retailer forecast holiday quarter comparable sales and profit below Wall Street expectations following a third quarter estimate miss. The consumer discretionary was the biggest sectoral decliner. Growth stocks like Tesla and Amazon.com also fell. The S&P 500 gained 0.13 points or 0.0022% to end at 5,917.11 points, while the Nasdaq Composite lost 21.33 points or 0.11% to 18,966.14. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 139.53 points or 0.32% to 43,408.47.
Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim welcomed Vietnam's Communist Party leader Tulam Putrajaya on Thursday, where the two leaders strengthened ties between the two nations.
Discussions at the meeting focused on enhancing cooperation across various sectors including trade, defense, marine affairs and energy. The meeting also witnessed the exchange of a key memorandum of understanding between the Malaysian External Trade Development Corporation and Trade, Vietnam's trade promotion agency. Another between Petronas and Petro-Vietnam is aimed at developing up to 3 gigawatts of renewable energy with an initial focus on the export of offshore wind power from Vietnam to Malaysia. Anwar expressed gratitude for Vietnam's supportive of Malaysian business ventures in Vietnam, which have now exceeded $13 billion with 700 projects.
Vietnam has been very supportive of our ventures, business ventures into Vietnam, which has now exceeded $13 billion with 700 projects. And that would mean the support of the Vietnamese authorities has been very positive and forthcoming, and they continue to support us on the ASEAN chair.
In his address, Lam also affirmed his commitment to bilateral ties between the two countries. He is currently on a 3-day official visit to Malaysia.
Bowling coach Mone Morkel said that India will give Shubman Gill every chance to prove his fitness to start the opening test against Australia at Perth Stadium, with the batsman showing improvement after fracturing his left thumb.
Gill, 25, sustained the injury while fielding at slip last week as India were gearing up for the match, which starts on Friday, with squad sessions instead of a tour game against a local side.
Yeah, Shubman is improving every day. Obviously picked up a nasty blow in that warm-up game, inter-squad game. I think with him it's going to be a day-to-day sort of process. Fingers crossed for that improvement. But I think they'll wait to make a call with him, up until the morning of the test match.
With skipper Rohit Sharma set to miss the match following the birth of his second child, Gill's absence could heap more pressure on India's less experienced batsmen on fiery Australian pitches, but Morkel backed them to rise to the occasion.
And again, as a batting unit, there's been a lot of conversation on how they're going to go about, finding a blueprint to put runs on the board. We know in Test cricket, especially over here, if you've got a total on the board, you can create pressure of the ball. And we've got a bowling attack that we believe that can bowl Australia out and take 20 wickets. So
Seema Mohammad Shami is not part of the squad for the 5-match series, having only returned to action this month after suffering an ankle injury at last year's 50 overs World Cup and a knee issue during his recovery. The 34-year-old claimed 7 wickets in a domestic match last week, but will not be rushed back to national duty. Australian fast bowler Josh Hazlewood said the hosts were plotting plans to counter southpaw Rishabh Pant, who has excelled down under.
Deep in South Korea's hinterlands lies a perfect replica of 1900s Seoul. Welcome to Sunshine Land, the latest K-drama theme park to cash in on booming K-culture tourism.
Fans of K-pop mega group BTS have long flocked to the south to see sites associated with the boy band, from the dorms where they slept as trainees to recent music video shoot locations. But as the popularity of South Korean drama has soared overseas, it is the most viewed non-English content on Netflix, the platform's data shows. More and more tourists are planning trips around their favorite shows. The idea that foreign tourists would pay good money and drive hundreds of miles out of the capital Seoul to see a K-drama set seemed crazy to tour guide Sophie Yoon until she saw one of her guests break down in tears at Sunshine Land. Preserved from the set of popular 2018 historical series Mr. Sunshine, the location in Nonsan, 170 kilometers from Seoul, is replete with painstaking replicas of everything from a turn-of-the-century tram to South Korea's most famous Buddhist bell. For South Korea's growing number of K-drama tourists, every door, every wall has a meaning from a drama that impacted their lives. South Korea welcomed 1.4 million tourists in September, up 33% year-on-year, and the highest since the pandemic, with more than a third saying they had decided to come after being exposed to Korean wave content, according to a 2023 KTO poll.
And that's all we have for this hour. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a very pleasant time ahead.
දිවහින්ගේ කුලිවරුවින්
අරුන්මන්නකි ඩයිරෙක්ට්ලි ඇසෝසියේෂන් ගේ හිංගුම හිංගුන් තෙරය වන්නානේ බයන්නෝ
වොලීබෝලෑග මිදේතරයක මස්සුවගෙන් එදිය ගොතකි අලෝන්මන්න